So I think something else that we both see when we work with folks is there's the fear of the no. And I know this is something you and I have talked about before. I see no as a relief in some
Yeah,
ways because that means, okay, if you clearly don't have an interest in this, great, I can move
I
on
can
and
move
go to the
on.
next person, right? But I think that going back to the psychology of this work, people tend to focus more on the no as I've been rejected. And really, it has nothing to do with you personally. It's just that in that moment, what you have to offer doesn't align.
Right.
So, and then there are even sales courses out there, Carrie, that you've probably seen where they focus a whole training around how do you get around the no. I totally disagree with that. Why would
Completely.
you try to put the square peg in a round hole? You
Yes.
know? So can you talk a little about how you see that with your existing clients or how you've seen that in other areas?
Yeah, I think no, I think you're spot on that it feels personal. And that
Yeah.
I think is the
Yeah.
hardest thing I think that's
Yeah.
what keeps most people out of a career in sales.
Yeah.
It's the idea of all the rejection and the no's
Yeah.
and that is scary. And I think if you take it personally, you should not be, that's not a career for you.
Right. Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
and I think you're right, because I think there's really three things that have to be all aligned for a yes to happen. And that
Yeah.
is you've got the right person at the
Yes.
right company at the right time. Right. And if
I
you
love that.
don't have all three of those things, if it's the wrong fit company, but the person's really excited about it and thinks it should
Yeah.
happen,
Yeah.
if it's not the right person, even if all the other things are aligned, and if it's perfect person, perfect company, but the timing is not right for them,
Yeah.
there's only, you're not gonna get them to change what's going on in their world to buy your thing. And
Yeah.
all you're likely to do by pushing, pushing, pushing is get them to say, even when we get to some point where we might need that, you're the last person I want to call.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that
Yeah.
that's not where you want to leave people feeling yucky about who you are and what you have. You want to be respectful of where they are. Now, I will say
Yes.
that there's a balance to that too, right? Because it's like that scene in Tommy Boy. We should do a whole thing on great sales scenes in movies. But
We
I
could
love
do
that
that.
scene where he's like, I don't know if people have seen it, but there's that scene where they're showing him going out on the road for the first time selling.
Yes. Yeah.
And we don't take no for an answer. And the very first thing they're like, no. And he's like, okay, then. And just stands up and walks away. So, you'll get a few no's that you
Oh,
can kind of maybe work around, like probe a little bit more.
yes.
Sometimes a no is to something else, not the whole thing. But
Yeah.
in general, I do think no is something you want to hunt for. And the other thing
Yes.
I'll say on that is, there was one group I was coaching where they have a challenge that comes up, and it usually comes up after they've gotten somebody excited about their product
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And then this comes up and it causes issues. And I said, then you need to move that to the front. What is the point
Yeah.
of getting somebody excited about all this stuff and then have this thing looming that is going to come up, and it's
Yeah.
coming up at the worst possible time? Address it right up front. Either they can get past it or they can't, and then get into the process. So
Yeah.
try to get the nose early, because otherwise you're spending all that time thinking something's going somewhere and it ain't.